The tourism industry is one of those that has been hit hardest by the COVID-19 pandemic. This is evidenced at the gates of Uganda Wildlife Conservation Education Center. The grounds that were once full of visitors flocking to see the animals are now deserted. The restaurant on the shores is isolated. The lake shores where people gathered on the weekends stare back emptily. The waves lap loudly against a quiet background.
If you've been to UWEC Zoo, you know that for sure everywhere you step in this compound, you'll see monkeys playing alongside with human beings and jumping from one tree to another. But today as we walked in, we couldn't see even a single monkey. And where children used to play from are camels sunbathing.
The animals could have an idea that it is not business as usual. The center collected over 3.5 billion shillings from the gate collections every year from school children, local and international visitors. The money went a long way in buying food for the animals. The zoo, which houses over 253 individual animals, is the age sustenance for the animals, which include cats, reptiles and primates, among others, grows more difficult day by day. For the 9 lions, 2 cheetahs and a leopard and several cats, the daily diet is beef. Considering that a kilogram of meat costs approximately 12,000 shillings and that on average lions eat 8 kilograms per day, at least 96,000 shillings is required. For the 2 hyenas, it is 48,000 shillings, while 24,000 shillings is spent on a leopard, and for the several cats, which also eat chicken, 40,000 shillings is disbursed. This adds up to 208,000 shillings spent on cats only every day.
So if you can multiply throughout a week, we are in millions of money. So we used to manage, and then regardless of the pandemic, the COVID-19, we have consisted giving them the same because we can't compromise animal welfare.
After the ban on both public and private transport, it is hard to access the beef suppliers.
Kampala, that's where we get our beef from, to here. So the supplier failed out to reach out to us.
David Musingo, the manager of UWEC, says that they have also had to make adjustments to their everyday running of the activities to fit the minimal budget that they are working with.
We have the keepers, we have most of the staff have left, but we have maintained the skeleton staff.
He says their sources of money are all on halt and they're squeezing their coffers dry to keep the animals catered for.
Most of the food that these animals eat, they are provided by suppliers whom we pay. And therefore, within 3 weeks from now or 1 month, we are going to have challenges feeding these animals. Because as I told you, the biggest percentage of our funding comes from entry fees.
Stephen Busurwa, a zookeeper, says some animals have noticed the changes and are not pleased.
If people come in, they can easily, they normally try to show some aggressive signs towards the presence of people, stuff like that, yeah, you know. But now they come stage, they are here, very quiet, so they also notice that.
According to the center's finance manager, they have lost revenue of over 2 billion shillings between the end of January to date. This would have come from the gate collection fees, recreational services, accommodation and conference services, among others. UWEC says this is pushing them to the wall because they continue to spend with no income.
Nyakato Pragna is UWEC's youngest African savanna elephant who was rescued at only 2 weeks old. Now, Nyakato being a baby, it takes 2 tins of SMA Pro milk, which contains iron that helps it in its growth. Now, this milk costs 120,000 a tin. For 2 tins every day, that's 240,000. And
Musingo, who also doubles as the chairperson of zoos in East, Central and West Africa, says the situation at UWEC is not different from other zoos.
Zoos all over the world, whether San Diego, whether in Australia that we work with, in Japan, Yokohama zoos, in UK, London zoos and others have all closed.
Although all the zoos around the country have been closed, the animals inside there still need constant care and constant feeding. They are equally as vulnerable to the coronavirus as human beings are. UWEC Zoo has about 253 individual animals and 53 species of animals, and all these need feeding. And in the background are our relatives, as the president termed it, who you can share with the little that you have. Olivia Komgisha, NTV.